Good morning, good evening, knowledge seekers and executors. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about the deployment patterns. I was talking about in my previous videos service design patterns. The second one is database management pattern and fault tolerance pattern and scalability pattern. Today I'm going to talk about mainly focusing on the deployment pattern. Deployment patterns in microservices refer to the strategies and techniques used to deploy microservices in a distributed system. How do you deploy in the distributed system? That is what which is talking about the deployment patterns. These patterns help ensure efficient, scalable, and reliable deployment of individual services and the overall microservices architecture. So how basically everything is talking about scalable and reliable and efficient deployment of the individual services. Here are some common deployment patterns in microservices. So the first one is a service instance per container and services, sidecar, and blue-green deployment, canary release, and A/B testing. So these are all the patterns which are used in the deployment patterns. I'm going to talk about service instance per container. Service instance per container patterns involves running each microservice in its own container. Containers provide isolation, scalability, and easy deployment, allowing services to be independently scaled and managed. So what it do, for each instances we are using like one container. So basically the container is talking about the scalability, isolation, and easily manageable to that particular services. So that is one service. It's so costly, but like one of the pattern which will be maybe that particular service is highly used and high demand. So one container will be part of on that service instance and will be handled by all that scalability and this traffic things. Serverless. Serverless deployment often refers to as function as service. It's like a FAS, function as service, allows developer to deploy individual functions or small units of code as a microservice. So individual, it's a small functions as a microservice. In this pattern, the underlying infrastructure and scaling are abstracted away, and the cloud provider takes care of resource allocation and management. Serverless deployment offer automated scaling, cost efficiency, and simplified operation overhead, making them ideal for event-driven and highly scalable workloads. So it's a serverless which is talking about you don't maintain the server, and cloud will be providing all the service, and you are using the commands to deploy your service. As rightly saying, like GCP cloud deployment, which is talking about a cloud run where we are deploying, right? There will be certain commands which will be used to deploy it, and all will be controlled by your GCP. You don't require to maintain your service. Only Google Cloud or like AWS or this Microsoft, they will be handled and they will be used to provide the services, and that will be deploying your services based on your commands. So sidecar, the next one is sidecar. Sidecar pattern approaches a separate container known as sidecar to a service container. The sidecar container provides additional functionalities such as logging, monitoring, or authentication without modifying the service code database. The pattern enables encapsulation of crossing concerns and simplifies the deployment and management of the auxiliary services. Basically, it's like a sidecar. The name itself is talking about you have you might have seen like a sidecar in a scooter. You have a sidecar they will be calling. So scooter will work functionally. Whatever the functionality which has, like sidecar also will try to mimic that services, but like it won't impact anything. Though you can, if you want, plug in plug out. So that is what the advantage of sidecars. It has own functionality, logging, authentication, all these things you can add it up, and those are all boosting up your performance of this main service. So if in case if that particular has a particular sidecar has an issues, so you can take out that and keep your service up and running, and once you fix it you can plug in that one. So it's easily adjustable. So that is what the sidecar pattern which will be helpful. So far which we talked about in the deployment pattern, like we talked about the service per container and serverless and the sidecar pattern. So serverless which I talked about, GCP or any cloud thing which will be providing serverless deployment, and that is a function as a service, FAS, and the sidecar which will be independent pluggable services, and service as a container, it's one service or one container. Thank you for watching. I'll talk about more on next video.